right, well, good morning. I think it's still morning. Feels like morning. It's a foggy day, and we're gonna try to knock out that garden bench. And so at school, you're gonna have some redwood. They're roughly 42 inches, so we're gonna keep everything kind of smaller than that as far as when we get to our cutting. And I'm gonna produce a cut list for you. So I would suggest, as far as the first thing, is to get everything cut to length before you do any assembly. And so that'll help you kind of with all the measurements, number of pieces, what size they are. Everything's made out of 2x4, so that'll make that part easy. And we're going to use some 8-penny nails and galvanized so that it's good as far as outdoor goes. It will be a little rough, so we may have to do some sanding at the end. We'll have to see. But anyway, a nice little bench about 18 inches tall and I'm thinking about 16 inches wide and roughly 38 inches long. So let's see how it goes. Let's get started.
Okay, here's your cut list, and pay attention to the purple there. We got legs, 4 of them, 16 inches long. Front rails, 2 of them, 38 inches long. End rails, 2, 14 inches long. And the top, we need 5 pieces at 40. And again, everything's 2x4. That's why I say don't worry about the middle 2 numbers there.
All right, here we are at the cutting table, and I'm going to start with the legs. I think if you get a cut list, you can really start wherever you want, but as I design this and build for the first time, I like to start from the bottom up. And so I would start by finding your square edge, and hopefully all boards will have one square edge, and we'll measure from that square edge, and we're going to cut 4 pieces at 16 inches. Okay, well, we got our legs cut. They're 16 inches. They're all the same length. And the next pieces we're going to cut 2. They're going to be the rails, the end rails that go, that span on the end, on the top of the legs. And we're going to cut those at 14 inches. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and smack these together. We're using these 8-penny galvanized nails, and that makes sure that they don't go all the way through. And it's important that we get things square at this point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the square, and I'm going to bump it up to that rail, and then I'm going to scribe a line there. And so as I hammer, I make sure that I keep things square on that line. And let it rain. Okay, well, here they are, and these end rails, they're going to go on the inside. So we're kind of looking like this, and then these are going to be some long rails going this way. Okay, well, we're looking at the seat part now, these top pieces, and it looks like we need 5, which is good. That's going to give us a bigger surface here to sit on. If you can get 40 inches out of these, that would be great. I was planning for 38, which meant we'd overhang on these ends about an inch. But if you could get 40, that would just make it a little longer, a little cleaner. And again, we're going to have some spacing in between. So I'm looking at hanging these edges out about an inch, and hanging these ends out 2 inches might not be a bad thing. So yeah, so the next thing would be to cut these to 40 if you got it, or 38 would work too. Okay, and mounting the seat here, I'm finding that it seems to, if these are 40 inches long, each of these slat pieces, 1 inch, so 1 inch all the way around from the base. So we got an inch on the sides, and we got an inch on the ends, and that allows for 3/8 gap between the inside pieces. So that seems to be the best plan. I am going to nail, I'm going to definitely glue, and you know, if it's outdoors, some waterproof glue would be ideal. And so just kind of pay attention to the nail pattern that I do. Hopefully we don't have any split outs. I think the redwood's going to be easier than the fir as far as the split out issue. And it seems like, you know, a nice wide surface, great height. Well, I'm going to start by mounting the outside pieces first and fill in the center with the 3/8 gap between each board. But first I'm really going to pay close attention to the 1 inch setback on the ends and on the edges, so that we remain square, and when we fill in the center pieces, they're flush on the ends. All right, well, we finished off these seat pieces, and you know, really making sure that we're square on the ends here from the outside one to the next, and from the next to the center. And you know, we really made sure we were 1 inch in from the ends, which is kind of the same thing, but just double check. And 3/8 in between each slat. So, you know, and if you wanted to make yourself a spacer or find a spacer between these, that would have made that a little easier. But as I nailed them off, I just kept checking. And the nail pattern, well, I got 2 in the ends that go into this outside rail here, and then 1 into the leg, 1 into this front rail, 1 in the center of the front rail, and then same over here. So we got 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1 in the center of those front rails. So yeah, looks pretty good and definitely sturdy. I was worried about that, but God, it's more sturdy than my sawhorse, my amazing sawhorse. All right. Well, at this point, it would be nice to do some kind of finish touch-up, and that's what really makes it look nice. So hopefully we have the means, but these edges are definitely rough on the ends. So, you know, if you had a file, something like this would just be outstanding. Just did this on each one. And boy, if your file was sharp, it would sure go fast too. Like this one's pretty sharp. Maybe that. Maybe a little bit, you know, here. Just think about people hitting these edges. Just kind of not make that so sharp. Definitely sanding, if you had the means of sanding. And then obviously some finish at the end. And boy, I think that would be a really nice little addition. It's gonna be good.